Clustered tightly in folding chairs, thousands of soldiers in olive drab dress uniforms chatted anxiously as the champ stepped into the ring. Back in the United States, the chance to get a close look at the world heavyweight boxing champion in action would have been a highly coveted ticket. But the crowd around the temporary boxing ring in southern England this day was there courtesy of the U.S. Army. For reigning champ Joe Louis, it was just another exhibition fight, put on for the morale of troops, men who would soon shed their blood fighting for world peace in Europe. For his opponent, a fellow enlisted soldier named Lafayette Pool, a lanky Anglo-American Texan who had been a Golden Gloves champion before enlisting in the Army, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. Louis was a lethal African-American fighter of international fame known as the Brown Bomber. Born in a sharecropper's shack on the edge of an Alabama cotton field, Joe Louis Barrow had become a celebrity almost overnight when he made his professional boxing debut on July 4, 1934, with a first-round knockout. During the bleak years of the Great Depression, he was an inspiration to much of Black America. Louis said little and smiled less, but his victories spoke for themselves. His career stalled when German boxer Max Schmeling put Louis on the mat with a 12th-round knockout in 1936 before a sold-out crowd in Yankee Stadium. But the Brown Bomber bounced back, and on June 22, 1937, he faced the then-champion Jim Braddock. In Round 8, Louis knocked Braddock out and gained the World Heavyweight Boxing Champion title. Exactly 1 year later, with world tensions mounting between Germany and America, Louis took to the ring to defend his title against Schmeling. In addition to the audience of 70,000 at Yankee Stadium, an estimated 60 million Americans tuned in via radio, along with another 100 million listeners worldwide. The Brown Bomber retained his title by knocking Schmeling down 3 times before the referee declared a technical knockout just 2 minutes and 4 seconds into the match. His boxing success continued, even as America was swept into World War II in late 1941. Louis enlisted in the U.S. Army and went through boot camp, but he was not destined to be a frontline fighter. Instead, he became one of the few enlisted Black Americans during that era to be photographed for promotional purposes. Private Joe Barrow became a recruiting magnet, and posters were circulated of him dressed in combat gear, wielding a rifle with a fixed bayonet. The tagline on the poster came from a fundraising speech Louis had made. "We're going to do our part, and we'll win, because we're on God's side." Louis donated the money he earned during his successful March 1942 military charity fight to the Army Emergency Relief Fund. Understanding the need to appeal to African Americans and to portray America as a country unified against Nazi tyranny, American military and political leaders gave Louis a special role as a goodwill ambassador. He and other Black boxers began traveling as a show throughout the United States, entertaining more than 1 million servicemen at 118 military camps between August 1943 and January 1944. The show was such a hit that the Army decided to move the entertainment to Europe for the benefit of the troops staging for the invasion of France. In April 1944, Louis's entourage arrived in England to begin a boxing tour of Allied posts. After Louis boxed several bouts with his sparring partners, the Army allowed select enlisted men to jump in the ring with Louis. Louis would speak to the troops first, offering words of patriotic encouragement. Then it was all business as he prepared to fight. Clad in black shorts, a tight white T-shirt, laced boxing shoes, and 8-ounce leather gloves, Louis didn't have to do much to get the crowd riled up. At 6 feet 2 inches and 215 pounds of muscle, he was a solid fighting machine. His amateur opponent this night was Sergeant Pool, a man so dedicated to commanding one of the first M3 Grant tanks that he had passed up his chance to fight in the Golden Gloves Championship in 1942. Pool was as tall as Louis, with closely cropped dark brown hair, sloping shoulders, and a crooked nose, courtesy of a previous fight. He was thin and wiry, nearly 50 pounds lighter than the champ, but he was not deterred in the least. He had won nearly all of his Golden Gloves fights, and while in the Army, he had been named the victor in 41 of 41 contests.